¿Qué pasó, amigo? ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿cómo está usted? Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you guys take your seats? We're going to go and get started with this week's connection point. Well, I am excited to have you guys here. We've got a great meeting planned for you today. So we're going to jump right in because we tend to go a little long. You might have noticed that. And so I'm going to try not to do that this week, but I can't make any promises. But I will promise it's going to be full of value. So everything you've got here this week is going to be something I think you're going to walk away with a little inspiration and a little bit of motivation to get out there and get the work done. So let's jump right in. We are not like every company out there. I say this every week. Keller Williams is different because of our ideals, because of our mission. We just, there's a lot of companies that are satisfied for you to sell real estate. And that's it. Whereas our goal is that you would build a career worth having, a business worth owning, a life worth living, so you can have those experiences worth giving and legacies worth leaving. And that's our focus, right? We want to teach you to sell real estate at a high level. We also want to teach you to build something that will last beyond your efforts, right? Whatever that may be. So we're going to continue to focus on that through our training. But without our beliefs, we're just mercenaries, right? Our beliefs are what make us different. And so to tell us a little bit more about our beliefs, Mr. Brent Beachel.
Good morning, everyone. So, this is a good-looking crowd. My goodness. Hey, love giving a great quote of the week. This week, it's from the person that wrote the MREA. You know who that is?
Gary Keller.
A guy named Gary Keller, right? Keller Williams. Listen what he says. He says a shark has to move to force water over its gills to breathe. And if they stop, they drown. Did you know that? Well, that's a lot like our lead generation. In our business, we have to keep going or our business drowns. It dies. He says on page 221 of the MREA, he says you got to make it systematic, consistent, and sustained. And I'm proud of you guys because that's what I see you doing all the time. This is the 3 ways to build your business, and this lives in what we have before us, our Y4 C2Ts. You know, when we say them and when we live them, we breathe life into our business and our very lives. And that's great. So let's all stand up together. Let's repeat our Y4 C2Ts together. You ready? Here we go. Win-win or no deal. Integrity, do the right thing. Customers, they always come first. Commitment in all things. Communication, seek first to understand. Create together, everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty. Equity, opportunities for all. And success results through people. Great job, you guys. Sit down, I'll give you 3 quick things of KW culture. I love the second from the bottom. Equity, opportunities for all. You know, it's said that we all have 24 hours every day. All of us are the same. Yet, some take that opportunity more than others. You know, it's what Gary Keller says, and it's sustaining something. It's being consistent at something. It's having a systematic way to work it. You know, it's the best opportunity to claim equity in the business of real estate is following after our Y4C2Ts. Because it's how movers and shakers make it work. That is great KW culture. And the second thing is compliment others regularly. Didn't I just do that? You guys look good, man, I'm telling you. But you know, we all want and need that encouragement. And remember this one thing, when you give, you get. And that's really great. And so, you know, you guys, I just got to say again, you look good. Even when you're a little late, you look good. All right? And so that too is great KW culture. And the third thing is, you know, you need to not only learn, but live our Y4C2Ts. You know, each one applied each week for 10 weeks gets you through the whole year. 10 Y4C2Ts every week, one of them will get you through the whole year. 50 weeks, gives you 2 weeks off. That's great KW culture, and with that, I hope you guys have a great culture week. Thank you.
All right. Boom. Well, yeah, that brings us to our events and announcements. We've got a lot coming on. So our Broker Blitz is coming up soon, September 27th. That's tomorrow. Yeah, good. What do you know? And this is Kevin Allen's beautiful listing at 16531 Catalonia Drive, Riverside. Guys, Broker Blitz is your opportunity to leverage some of the incredible properties that we have here at Keller Williams Riverside for your social media presence. So we want you to go through, we want you to make those reels, we want you to tell those stories, we want you to share that with your sphere of influence. Now this property is gorgeous, listed at $1,388,000, right? And you may think, I don't know anybody who can buy $1,388,000. Well, A, if you don't, go find some, right? You got to broaden that sphere. And B, you want the people in your world to associate you with success. They're not going to look at that critically. So when you put these things on your social media feed, we all scroll through that really quickly, right? And what they see is $1 million and you. They see that gorgeous property and they see you, and they create an association between success and missing out a tremendous opportunity. So get there for this. This isn't as much about the house as it is about your business, right? If you can find a buyer for the house, phenomenal. But we're looking for that next listing. We're looking for that next opportunity. So be there. That's Wednesday, September 27th at 11 a.m. and lunch will be provided. There you go. Hey, volleyball is this week. This is our social event for the quarter, I guess. Well, there's a lot going on this quarter, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But this is a lot of fun. Susan Sanderson from American Home Shield sponsors this event. It is a highly competitive afternoon of volleyball for the whole family. But great time, so 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'd love for you to be there. Put it on your calendars. You can bring the kids, and Susan really spoils us with the spread that she puts out. It really, really is a lot of fun. So check that out. We'd love to see you there. I came back from Mega Camp just really, really impressed with Phil Jones. And I started putting the language from his book, exactly what to say, into action in my daily calls. I've mentioned the how open-minded would you be, or I'm not sure this is for you, or what makes you say that, right? I've been using it to great success. I shared that with Sam Othman in our consult last month. Sam got fired up, and that's why he's doing our October book club, exactly what to say for real estate agents, every Tuesday in October at 1 o'clock p.m. Guys, these little language tips, Tyler and I were just talking about this. He headed out to do a listing presentation right now, but he was sharing too. These little tweaks have incredible impact. So if you have the opportunity, really be a part of this book club. Also, this is a special event happening, KW Luxury. If you qualify for luxury, there's a special event for luxury happening, I believe, in Scottsdale. Phil Jones will be doing 3 hours at that event just for our luxury agents. So if you are a luxury agent, check that out. It's normally $60,000 to be with Phil Jones for 3 hours, right? So it's not for this. So check it out. It's going to be, that is an event I'm going to try to talk myself into. So check that one out. And I believe that's next month, or it's October.
What
Hey,
book is?
the book is exactly what to say for real estate agents.
Is that what it is? Okay.
It is. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of overlap between exactly what to say and exactly what to say for real estate agents. But I've been listening to them both almost on repeat on my commute in every day. And truly, just a couple tweaks has changed my appointment setting percentage tremendously. So really, this is phenomenal stuff. Charge the storm. Hey, we know that the fourth quarter is a challenging time in the market. We typically see the market come down a little bit. And so the rest of the market is telling themselves things like there's no business. They're telling themselves to go to sleep and just weather the storm. But we know the way to get through the storm is to charge headlong into it. And so what the ALC decided to do was set a goal for ourselves each month for listings for the office. So we're setting a goal for 30 listings in October. Now, we know we can exceed that, but this first one we really wanted to say, let's all play. I asked the ALC about a competition for the most listings. Their response was, no, we want everybody to have a part of this. And so what we're doing is the agent who puts us over the goal, right? You get the 30th listing, you get our listing buffalo, right? And the listing buffalo will be your trophy for that month. You can display it with pride. Take care of it. Don't let your kids have it. Right?
Or your dog.
Or your dog. Right. Thank you, Sam. You'll have it for the month, and you'll have to defend that title, right? And the way you defend it is by getting listings, by staying in the game, right? We're a team here. We win as a team. And so our ALC believed that was really important, that everybody has a shot at this. So everybody has a shot at this. So will you get the listing buffalo? Rose?
So what if I have a listing and I'll just hold it? And I'll put it in.
You can do that if you want, Rose, but explain that to your clients, right? You know?
I mean,
Guys, I would love to get your property on right now, but there's this buffalo.
I mean, you know, human nature.
I know. I hope the buffalo isn't enough for you to jeopardize. If it becomes a problem, we'll look into it. Any other questions around? We'll have to name him.
We'll have to get a second one.
Yes, we might. Yeah, we'll call him Larry the Listing Buffalo. I'm not sure, but if you have any names, we can suggest. So you can coloring pages for the kids. Anyway, moving. So trunk or treat. You know. We know client events are important in your sphere of influence. We also know that every agent doesn't necessarily have the opportunity to do this at a high level. That's why we do. So our trunk or treat event is not our event, it's your event. You are inviting your sphere of influence to your trunk or treat event, right? And so this is October 27th from 4 to 7 o'clock p.m. We want this to be a massive, massive show on the part of our agents. But I tell you, every year I dream of hordes of kids wandering in from the neighborhoods, right? The first year we were coming out of COVID, and it was frightening how much candy we handed out. Last year we had a little dip, right? That means we need to do a little bit better job of getting the word out. So we've printed these postcards for you. You can glue stick your card to it. You can hand those out in your sphere of influence. You can mail them. But if you're not making phone calls right now to the people in your life, inviting them to trunk or treat, I cannot help you. Right? This is a total come from contribution. There is no what's the word when you feel like you're not the imposter. There's no imposter. Wow, I had it was a Biden moment. There's no imposter. Sorry, political commentary. Sorry. There is no imposter syndrome in inviting someone to a trunk or treat. Right? This is entry level stuff, man. This is, hey, come with the kids. We're gonna give you candy and free pumpkin. So make those calls. I expect everybody here to be making at least 20 calls a day, inviting people to this event. And what you will find is those 20 calls a day are going to result in business, but you're not going to have to ask for it. So make sure you're doing that work. All right. And then this is something else that's a lot of fun. We're doing the Norco Christmas Parade of Lights. It's Saturday, December 9th, the day after our Christmas party. This is just going to be a lot of fun. We've got a sleigh that seats about 20 kids, and so we want to load it up with your children. We'd like it if you dress them like elves. I've already volunteered my kids. I'm not really excited about the elf thing, but it's a way for us to be part of the community, and Norco is a big part of our business center. So also, that's a social media opportunity, right? You can show your community involvement. So, and you can invite your friends and family to come out to Norco's parade. So make sure you're taking advantage of all of these things. And lastly, I can't read this at all. So what this is telling you is there's a cost of waiting in Riverside County. Mary Baez brought this back for us. It was a powerful chart. We're going to email it out to you. And basically what it shows is when you add up the cost of your rent, when you add up the cost of taxes on a higher property, when you add up the cost of waiting, it costs more to wait for lower rates, right? And so this demonstrates that beautifully, but right now it's an eye chart and it doesn't mean anything. So we'll send that out to you. I'm going a little fast because our content today, so if you need me to slow down, let me know. Our listings, we continue to list strong. The Poolies listed this, just listed this beautiful home in Menifee, California, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 3,000 square feet for $700,000. Gorgeous home. Bob and Jeannie, what do you have to tell us about it?
It is a beautiful home. I mean, when you walk inside, it looks like you're walking into a model home. The guy has it just decorated beautifully, perfectly. He just bought the property in February, expecting to be his forever home. It appraised last year at $725. He's probably put another $50 into it. So he's into it, and I don't think it's going at that price. We're hoping it's not going anywhere near that price, but if you got a client, it's a beautiful property.
So what happened to the forever home?
Life. He lost his job. He's in the process. He got a new job back in Indiana.
Cool.
So he's moving out.
If you don't mind my asking, how did this come to you?
72.
72 sold. All right, so 72 sold, we're starting to see that pay off a little bit better. So if you're not invested in that system, might be time to take a second look.
And just to even throw on there, I mean, this came in May,
Before
the
we
end of
went on our
May
trip,
is
yeah.
when it actually came in.
And he's an
And it's
agent,
been-
actually.
Wow.
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 We almost didn't go on the
No wonder he
listing.
lost his job.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Real estate part-time.
So here's the thing. The reason people are selling in this market is life events. The only way you're going to find out life events is if you're in relationship with them, or someone is selling you that lead. It's a lot cheaper to be in relationship with them, right? So this one's a great opportunity.
I was just going to say one other thing to
Yep.
follow up on what you always say, because like you said, we went on this back in May, and you know, and we didn't hear from him, so we sent him a letter and sent a thing, and so when he did call, he goes, I've been sitting here staring at your card for the last 2 weeks, and he's an agent, so he could have asked anybody out in Menifee.
Yeah.
And so I feel very privileged that he
Yeah,
called us.
and I say this, and you can disagree if you want. I don't think lead generation is hard. I think follow-up is hard, but the money's in the follow-up.
I would like to say, though, that there are people that are in 72 sold, but Bob does a spectacular listing appointment.
I believe it.
He really does.
I believe it.
I've
Yeah.
heard it.
Phenomenal. All right. Well, congratulations, guys. This we got just, did I skip one? No. Just listed from the Caring Realtor team. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,500 square feet for $625 in Menifee, California. So, Suzanne, what do you have to tell us?
Professional pictures will be up to date, so sorry about the iPhone picture, I'll say that first. It's a single story. She is downsizing. It's in Heritage Lake, so if you guys, which is an awesome community, so we had a pretty good turnout on the open house, but I don't have any offers yet, so we'd love to get one from one of you.
55 plus?
It is not 55 plus.
No.
Good. Good. All right. Awesome. Well, one stories are highly sought after, so get in touch with Suzanne. We've got a just coming 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath from Ray Wright for $600,000. I don't see Ray with us today. It looks new, yeah. And for $600,000 in Winchester, that won't last long at that price.
Right.
Especially 4 bedrooms of that square footage. So yeah, that's going to pop. So we've got just listed 3-bedroom, 2-bath from Saul Zamora and the Hungerford team. That's 327 Trailwood Drive, Wildemar. We are a little South County today. $639,000. Will probably go pretty quick, but they're not here. Good. Well, hey guys, I say this all the time. Keller Williams is not just about selling real estate. It's about building a life, right? We're not satisfied that you would just be people who sell real estate and lose your life in the process. We want more for you than that. And so I'm excited to bring up today one of the top teams in Southern California who happen to be part of our market center right now. And so I'm going to stop talking a little bit, and Josh and Penny, why don't you guys come on up, and we'll learn a little bit about you guys. So welcome, Josh and Penny Jelmberg. Well, guys, I have to tell you, I've been leveraging your name a little bit because you guys are with our market center right now, so I feel very comfortable saying, you know, we've got one of the top teams in Southern California, the Jelmberg group with us. But I'm excited to have you here because what you demonstrate is you can create an incredible life and an incredible business through Keller Williams. But just to kind of give you guys a sense of the team, in 2022 you had 150 million, is that correct, in volume? And a unit count, I think we had it was like something like 300 plus units. That might have been 2020.
That was 2021. Yeah.
2021. Massive, massive numbers. And now you guys are out of the Coachella Valley. You've been with KW for over 10 years-ish. I want to get into the background a little bit, but real quick, can you just give me an overview of everything that you're involved with in the world of Keller Williams?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got our team, obviously, there in the desert. We're also incubating to have our own market center there. So it's KW Coachella Valley. We also are part owners in a market center in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So we're kind of from that area. We got some ties there. And really that kind of process, I'll elaborate on that a little bit because it was kind of interesting. Is, you know, I mean, as we grew, like Chris was saying, in 2021, 300 transactions, 170 million in sales, we're trying to figure out. And so we always kind of felt like even before we came to KW that next step would be to become our own broker. And so we were looking for those opportunities for probably about a year, right? In Southern California, in our area, in the Coachella Valley, and that's how we came across KW Coeur d'Alene. And that took about a year to kind of consummate that relationship.
Yeah.
And so yeah, own 60% of KW Coeur d'Alene. It's a big market center. There's 300 agents. They do $1 billion in business.
It's one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Yeah.
I mean, Coeur d'Alene's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful. Cool.
That's what we got going on.
So you got Coeur d'Alene, you're incubating KW Coachella Valley.
Yep.
And then you're running this massive team.
Yep.
How many people on the team right now?
Ooh, probably 15, 16.
15,
We're saying
16
different answers.
agents. Yeah, it's okay. It's somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
20, thank you.
Well, we're fluctuating, yeah. Between 16
Well, yeah.
and 20.
And but here's the thing, and I love that, because you guys are running this team, and I bet there's somebody on your team who knows exactly how many, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so you just ask that person, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of the leverage, that's part of leadership, right? Like, I don't keep those numbers in my head, that's what Melanie's for, right? Because I've got too much things in my head. Well, so how did it start? I mean, you know, I know you've been with us for a little over 10 years. Penny, we had an opportunity to talk a little bit about your background. You're kind of a fierce businesswoman even before you got to real estate.
Yeah, that's primarily what I did in the past, is I ran companies.
Okay.
And we bought a company in Tri-Cities, Washington area, way back when I was like 22 years old. And then we ended up taking that company and we sold copiers and computers to the federal government for over 30 years up there. And then we ended up getting, I was president of the chamber at the time, we ended up getting involved in the internet when it first came out. And the courthouse had bandwidth coming into the courthouse, but they didn't have the ability to do anything with it. So I started an internet company in the basement of the courthouse, and we grew that to 13 states. And at the end, we ended up selling that company to a company that was owned by Nortel, Williams, Compact, and Lucent. And then at the same time, we thought, well, it's time to quit. And so...
if you don't mind asking, what year was that?
That was back in 2000.
Okay, so 2000, you're at a point where you now have very successfully built one business, then very, very successfully built another business, and you're thinking, I'm done.
Yeah, I really
Okay.
did. I thought I was done.
Okay.
Anyway, and I had 170 employees at that time. And while I was building these companies, my husband had done a small subdivision up there and had his real estate license. At that time, Josh was busy playing football for the University of Idaho.
I'd never guessed that looking at him. No,
Yeah.
it's just built like a truck. You know? Yeah.
He was a receiver.
Tell my
then.
wife.
There you go.
Anyway, and so, you know, once we sold the internet company, I thought, you know, maybe I need to really quit. And at that time, Pitney Bowes was going around and buying up the bigger copier companies. So I ended up selling the copier company to Pitney Bowes, the computer company to the employees, and we started a place to retire. Ended up down in Palm Springs. Took a year off. Hated being retired, absolutely hated it. And so we were always a family business, so got back on the phone with the kids and said, Mom's not very happy, you know. And so that's how we got into real estate. The kids after church on Sunday used to go to, you know, different open houses, and my husband, of course, with his building a small subdivision up there. He had his real estate license, and so they talked me into going and taking my test. I told them, you know, if I pass it, great. If I don't ever ask me to go back. And we just started, my husband and I, doing it part-time, and found out, you know, really didn't want to do that. So got back on the phone with the kids and said, you know, if we're going to do this, I want to do it as a business. In other words, I want to spend money to make money. I felt like we knew the internet really well, and at that time nobody was using the internet. So I felt like we knew the internet, we had the family, so we started the Jelmberg team.
Yeah.
And then Josh came over and joined us, and he's really the brains behind the whole thing, to be really honest. You know,
You're being real nice.
I'm telling you, the technology in that today, you know, I'm too old for all the technology, but we really emphasize the technology side. I know how to run businesses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love to list homes. I list, I do about 60 sales a year.
Yeah.
60 to 90, depending on the year. And so I've been doing that for the last 8 years, and I love it. That's what my expertise is. And so I share that with our team. I share that with everybody. And so that's my job, is to keep our team happy. We're busy building KW. We have 10 appointments this week with agents. And I personally call them.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about the opportunities in the Coachella Valley, for sure. We want to build the market center, and KW gave us that opportunity because of our background.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
Well, I want to dig a little bit in, because, you know, for most agents, the internet came in, and even today, it's something that gets layered on. Right, you got your primary business, and I might do some real estate, some internet advertising, or I might do this. You came into it and you said, we have an unfair advantage in the internet, and you knew what the internet was going to be, and so it sounds like foundationally that was your starting point, right?
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about how that, you know, that journey, I guess?
Yeah, sure. So when I got there, it was 2010. I came from Vegas. I was working construction as a project manager, project engineer. I think you guys had done about 12 million in business that year. We were working out of the garage, an office in the garage, in the casita. That was our office. And we grew out of that pretty quickly. Within about a year, we were in the office that we're in right now. We got just a couple thousand square feet, and opened another office now. But Chris, you know, my brother, was doing the national marketing for them, for their businesses in the Tri-Cities. And so when he came over, he started that website, right? So the web was an important piece of it. But to be honest with you, I mean, it was a piece of it, but we grew our business with open houses. Would you agree with that?
We did.
Yeah, I mean, it was pounding the pavement, open houses, and the internet, we were trying to figure it out because no one had yet.
Right.
And then we started getting leads off of the internet as well, but it wasn't something that we depended on at that time necessarily. It was Sphere, it was open houses, we were doing, you know, farming, postcards.
You were being real estate.
Yeah, we were working it.
Yeah, it wasn't a tech company.
And now, I mean, we've evolved a lot in
Right.
starting our team. I think we're more dependent on technology now than we probably were when we first started, to be honest with you. So I think you kind of have to be.
Well, so let's break that down a little bit. So we started, and it was exactly what you'd think. It was guerrilla marketing. It was open houses. It was sphere of influence. It was relationship building. All of the cornerstone of real estate things. Now, if we're going to break the business down, we're heavily into the internet, right, and that lead gen, more tech side. What about the database side? So if we're going to break it down and say business comes from, you know, online versus database, what's that look like now?
Yeah, so we're creating probably 400 to 500 internet leads a month.
Okay.
To give you a feel, we've got a database of 40,000 or so and growing.
Yeah.
But we also have a magazine that it started as postcards. It turned into a newsletter, and now it's a magazine of about 40 to 45 pages that we're sending into our farm of about 8,000 homes. So we started with a postcard and open houses in a community that Penny was in of 3,000. There's another community right next door that's 5,000. It grew to a newsletter, and now we're selling advertising it's free. We've got a magazine, we have 4 pages in there. We're able to tell our story every single month to about 8,000 homes that's in our farm.
So wait, hold on now. I love this, because I think I heard this right. you have this magazine that's going out to your farm
Mhm.
that's not costing you anything because you're selling advertising in your magazine.
Yeah, I should have brought a couple of them.
Oh, we should have brought them. They are really
Phenomenal.
amazing.
Yeah.
They are. We have
Yeah.
a gentleman that sells the advertising for it.
He makes a great living.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
makes a really good living.
So is that structured as like an ancillary business then, or this, right? You probably get these magazines, right? Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, we do it in
Very cool.
every month.
So we've got 40,000 people in the database. It's a very broad swath. We're hitting. Imagine that in that database, we've got levels, right? So, Penny, you said you list something like 60 plus a year. Are those broad internet leads? Are those more like center of the circle people that you built relationships over time, or is it all of the above?
I'm gonna answer that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably 85% past clients. It's
Okay.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, that 15 or 20% is coming in off of the magazine, or maybe a little bit of internet leads, but a lot of it is past clients. At this point.
I've kind of gotten a name, and so that always helps.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody knows, I've got, everybody knows that if they list with me, and I'm gonna market it, I'm gonna do what I need to do to sell it, and I don't think I've ever not sold a house that I've listed.
Yeah. Phenomenal. So 500 plus leads a month, you said. So I like to use the analogy of you got to pan a lot of mud to find the gold, right? How are you sifting the mud from the gold?
So we're distributing those leads to the agents on our team.
Okay.
So we give them about 30 leads a month. And it depends on where they're at. I mean, as they qualify them, we put them into categories based off of where they're at in the sales cycle, right? So if they're inside 90 days of making a purchase inside of 6 months, and we have a specific follow-up plan for each of those, whether it's calls, texts, emails. We're sending out market updates. Eventually, we'll be sending out our magazine so that we can kind of leverage all of that.
Okay. And then, so you don't. So I didn't hear ISA. I heard it's the agents who are sifting those.
We're teaching them.
I love it. That's great. And do you? So Marion said Marion Benton is our OP. She's the OP for the region. I know she's working closely with you guys too. We were in a meeting yesterday, and she said something to the effect of, if you're not building your business based on not building your business right? Do you have numbers or metrics around like your fleet of agents and those leads? What's the expectation as far as processing that data?
I mean, for us, we just kind of break it down with how we're going to handle each of those leads.
Okay.
So they know what the expectations are.
Yeah.
For that first 14 days that lead comes in, they know what the expectations are. If they're inside of 90 days, what we expect to see from them. If they're outside, if they're 3 months out, if they're 6 months out, if they're a year out, we have expectations that we set up front when we're onboarding someone and bringing them on, so that they know we're clear. We meet with them on a weekly basis and a one-on-one, where hopefully that first 3 to 5 minutes is accountability back to those expectations, and then the rest is business building.
All right.
What's the next tool that we can kind of plug you into? What's something you're struggling with? What's the dialogue that we can be working on? Those sort of things.
Yeah, I love it. So if I'm an agent on your team, I can expect to make how many contacts a day?
I think it depends on what your goal is.
Okay.
Right?
All
So,
right.
I mean, we always tie it back to what they're, and we don't set the goals for them. It,
All right.
it depends on where they're at in their life, right? So when we bring them on, obviously as a team, we're providing all of, it costs us a lot of money, so we want to make sure that you're going to be a full-time agent, and beyond that, it's what do you want your life to look like?
Yeah.
So do you want to make 500K? Well, this is what that looks like, right?
Right.
And we create a business plan for them that shows how many calls, how many contacts,
Yep.
how many appointments, and their conversion rates, and we work off of that. But it just depends on, how the dollars that they need from real estate to hit the goals that they have for their lives, right? That's
Yeah.
part of it too. So when they come in, we're going to put a vision board together of those items that you want. You want to pay that off? Do you want to send your kid to college? Is there a certain college? Is there a vacation that you want to go on? So that when you're hitting those goals, man, we're crossing things off your vision board. We're all excited together. We're celebrating. That's how we work it.
That's great. You guys were a successful team, and there's a couple points I want to hit before we move on. And one of those is from the get-go. They didn't get their license. We started a business, right? And
Absolutely.
And there was a business plan for the business, right?
Yeah, it was totally business. We saw the other way around and we didn't see it working.
Right. And that's, we say this a lot, and I want to hit it with a hammer, and I want to hit it hard. You're a small business person, right? And the difference between the mom and pop donut shop and Krispy Kreme is the business plan, right? They're living proof that the business plan comes first, and then you run the play, right? And you modify and you adjust and you do what you need
Sure.
to do, right? And that's one of the things that if you're a newer agent or even you're a successful agent because you're a real estate savant, your next level depends on your business plan, period, right? So you guys didn't start at KW though. You were a successful business person, but eventually you ended up here. What was it that drew you to this company as opposed to maybe being an independent brokers or starting your own thing, or why on earth are you with Keller Williams?
I'll let Josh tell you, but Josh is a broker. We could have done anything we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And
Clearly. Yeah.
10 years ago, we sat as a family. And one thing we said, because of our past, is that we were going to take from a community, we were going to give back. And so Josh's older brother, basically, he is a full-time minister. We help the people on the streets. That's our deal. We actually, our team pays for that, for him to be able to do that. And so we're trying to help people that are on the streets.
Yeah.
And if he needs, whatever he needs for that, we're helping with.
Yeah.
And we've been really successful doing that, getting people off the streets, not just going out and feeding them, because they do every week, but actually trying to get them off the streets and get them back on their feet. And if you go to Street Life Project, you're going to see kind of the results of that.
I love that. I mean, it's funny you ended up with us because Ray Wright, who's one of our mentors, he calls himself Teacher Ray, and his passion is Sunday school, right? His son's a pastor. Kevin Allen's a former youth pastor. I've got about 18 years in ministry. I still speak around the country.
My son's a youth pastor.
Your son's a youth pastor. Suzanne's husband's a dean at Cal Baptist. I mean, it's like, welcome home.
Our son's in the seminary.
There you
Yes,
go. Yeah,
he
there you
is.
go. So it's just interesting how you guys just fit with this business here. But so there's that high level, we've got a mission, right? There's more to this than making money. And you mentioned a little bit that was sort of the connection point with Keller Williams.
Yep. The culture, yeah, it was obviously you can see kind of the fit. We want to change lives with what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, when we bring
Arthur's minister too.
Let's
sorry.
go. I mean, when we bring agents on, that's what we want. And when they connect with us, we want their lives to change. I mean, you can jump on. We actually created a recruiting site for KW Coachella Valley. You go to there's a video on there, Our Story, talks about all of that. So whether it's here at Coeur d'Alene, our team, that's always kind of been the outlook. We feel like the rest will kind of take care of itself if we focus on the agent and helping them accomplish the goal that they have for their lives. And hopefully that will spread, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people around, I think that's kind of the vision, that's the thought.
Yeah. So there's a strong alignment with the culture.
Yeah.
You also said, though, I remember we talked about this a little bit beforehand, and you also both said, and the money. Yes. So it was financially, it made sense.
It did.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, the decision was, you guys had moved one other time before. You started with Tart already, and then moved to a local brokerage in HK Lane, and we didn't really want to move again unless we were going to become our own broker. I mean, that was kind of the thought. And so when we started talking with KW, it was like, we're going to have a deal that feels like that we can, maybe have some ancillary businesses that we can, feel like it's our business and grow it like a brokerage almost, and they provided that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think that is it's funny, Keller Williams is the largest real estate brand in the world. And it's amazing to me how many people don't know that, but it's because we put the agent's business first. And our model is such that really, truly, you benefit, as you grow, the agent benefits more.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the number of other businesses that have come out of KW. You guys came in with that business mindset, but it aligns so closely with our goal of really teaching people to be business people. So what's next? Where are we going from here?
Oh boy.
I know that's
Good
a
question.
I love that.
Yeah, we have some exciting things.
Yeah, we're working on the ancillary businesses and trying to connect those, in North Idaho with here, and so I think that's kind of the next step of what we're trying to accomplish. We've already been exploring other brokerages up that direction, and here, not in Riverside, but in Southern California as well.
Right.
So
more
I think
market
that's it.
centers is what we're looking at?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Good question.
What
But we've got our hands full right now with what we got going on.
You do. I mean, hey, I tell you, I sit in the same seat as far as growing a market center,
Yeah.
and it's there's some challenges.
Yeah.
Oh,
some
we're
fun.
excited about it. I
Yeah.
gotta
Oh, yeah.
tell you,
Yeah.
it was so fun this week calling and You know, you don't realize what people think of you to start calling you other agents.
So true.
And it was so fun because I got such great response from
Yeah.
people wanting to come talk to us. And last night we signed up one, and I mean, she was almost crying and we were almost crying.
Mhm.
Anyway, it was just, it's really gonna be fun. We look forward to it. We've been building how to do it for the last couple of months. We've had to do a lot of different changes,
Planning, right?
planning and
Mhm.
changes. And I gotta tell you, I think, you know, it's gonna be really, really fun to build this market center. Is it gonna be work? Absolutely, it's gonna be work.
Yeah.
But I think the rewards are gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. I'm with you. Josh, you
I would just elaborate too that, you know, the timing has been interesting, right? Like we consummated our deal up in North Idaho in July, but we really didn't get announced until September. And then September hit, and it's like, what's happening with the market, right? And everything that's
Mhm.
gone on.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, we've always grown in
When
down
things were down.
markets. So when we
Yeah.
started our business, I mean, when I got there, it was 2010. You guys started in 2005, or you know. So when 2008 hit, I mean, we're growing our business during probably one of the worst real estate markets that any of us have ever seen,
Yep.
potentially, right?
Yeah.
And so the market turn doesn't scare us necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just know if we put our heads down and we grind, that when we come out the other side, there's going to be big growth. Because
So, you guys, how many times have I said, empires are built now, right? You know, those.
Yeah.
This is it. This is because if you build the market share now, the market comes back.
Yeah.
People go, where'd that guy come from, right?
Yeah.
And Jelmberg and Josh, that's an example. Hey, I'm gonna just throw it out to any questions you have before I let them get off the hot seat. So.
On your business, like you said, how you sold the other businesses and then decided to start this business. So, I don't need to know the exact number, but, so you said you had to buy, you know, like, just like, you know, you gotta play money to win money in Vegas or whatever. So, how long did it take you to see, you know, the money that you invested? Because I, like, when I'm listening to you talk about you got into the advertising part, those are things that aren't cheap, I'm sure. So how long do you feel like it took you before all this investment really started showing a profit from it?
Well, I mean, first of all, we were selling already. We just didn't know how to take it to the next level. Josh is the one that did that. And what we found is that marketing was, we had to market. I mean, we did. And so, but we didn't use, in fact, to this day, we have never used the money from our investment back in the internet. It still sits, everybody laughs at me, it still sits in my account. It's gonna be my retirement someday. Anyway, but we were willing to reinvest. And that's the one thing that I noticed, like when I go to a listing, they want to see, like, when you get a commission, how much of that commission are you reinvesting in your business versus how much are you spending on yourself? And that is really what you have to look at, I think, to grow it, because that's kind of what we did in reality.
So you said that most of your business comes from past clients and probably
Her listing.
Her listing.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
listing.
yeah.
So my question is, with the 8,000 that you mail to, and that you market to in your geographic farms, how much business out of that 8,000? Like how many listings and how many sales come from from your farming?
I would say almost 90% come from that
From
farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the one that we've been farming for since I mean, 10 or 12.
Forever.
15,
Okay.
yeah. long
Okay,
time.
thank you.
Leanne?
I have a question.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Penny, right? You mentioned that you sold all the houses that you listed. How could you do that? That's the question.
Oh, you mean, wait, sold
You
as
sold-
in nothing
sold.
expired?
They are
right?
not
Nothing
expired.
expired.
Good, good, yes,
So
yeah,
how
not
can
buyer
you do
side.
that?
Well, when I take a listing, I'm determined, okay, one way or another. I don't look, here's the interesting thing about a listing to me. When I go to a listing, the first thing I want to know is what is their story?
What's their story?
What's their story? Why are they moving? What's their ultimate goal? And then when I find that out, then I can help myself figure out what I got to do. How long have I got? What is our, like I've been to many where one of the spouses died, or all different kinds. But you have to get involved. It's like kind of getting involved in their life. And I can tell you I mean, Josh can probably tell you this too, is that if I go to a listing, I am probably 90%, 95% gonna get that listing. I don't even worry about the competition. I just go there, I want them, and I don't think about the money. I'm looking at what am I going to do to make these people accomplish their mission. And by doing that, I know I have to win. I have to win. Because if I don't, the people I'm sitting across from aren't gonna win either. And I don't want that to happen.
I know that.
So,
That is so quotable. That's phenomenal. I mean, and that is that mindset. It's not about me, it's about them,
yeah,
right?
absolutely,
And
100%.
yeah, if I don't get it, I don't know who's gonna get it, but I know what I do. All right, Brent.
So you're dealing with two markets that are mostly secondary type of markets, second homes and that type of thing. Do you advertise differently in the Coachella Valley than you would in Coeur d'Alene?
So in Coeur d'Alene, we're not doing a bunch of business. We are creating leads up there for our brokerage. And so in that respect, yeah, it's pretty similar. The market is slightly different in that I don't think it's been as affected over the last, since last September as our market in the Coachella Valley has.
It's because everybody's moving there from here.
I mean, they are,
Yeah.
there's no
It's
doubt about it.
crazy.
It has been affected, but not quite as much. And then there are, more families up there. But as far as the way we're marketing, no, it's pretty much the same. Now I've seen a lot of agents are doing business differently than what we can do in the Coachella Valley, and that there's a lot of door knocking that's happening there. In Coachella Valley, we can't do that. I mean, they're all gated communities, right?
Mhm.
So that's still kind of a big deal, a way that a lot of people are doing business and starting out. Yeah. Does that answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love the way that you said that when you're building up your team, and I'm looking at one of our things that we have on board is success works through others. So you build, when you bring in somebody to come on board on your team, you actually tell them, or you build a business plan for them as well, right?
Have to,
Get them
yeah.
started, and I love that because you're on a one-to-one with the people that you're bringing on board to be successful along with you.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you're coming from contribution, because you want to see them successful.
Yeah.
We just know if we make them successful, we'll be successful.
Yeah,
That'll
we
take
have
care
to
of
worry
itself.
about
But
I
let's help
love
people.
that. I
Yeah.
just love
All right.
that.
And everybody's vastly different too in how they do business. Some people have a large sphere, some people don't.
Right.
Some people are willing to do open houses. Some people want to pound the phones.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, so
So
what are you willing
you
to
build on a one-to-one basis.
have
Yeah.
to? Yeah, I mean, that's how we see it.
Wow.
It's funny, I did a day of leadership with Gary Keller a couple months ago, and that was almost his whole focus was, when people join your team, they don't give up their goals, right?
No.
They don't. They've got their life, they've got those things, and so if you invest in getting them to their goals, then you're gonna meet your goals. And you guys are living that out. Hey guys, I literally could just keep doing this, because I know there's just so much more. Unfortunately, we have a little time constraint.
One last question. Can I ask?
Serious? Okay, fine.
Why did you decide to move from Portland to Coachella?
Well, from Washington to Coachella.
Huh?
Oh, from Washington. We
Washington.
moved from Washington, sold our businesses up there, moved to Coachella Valley to retire. That's where we started real estate.
Okay.
Then we bought Coeur d'Alene, and I think the one thing that's really cool about Coeur d'Alene is Josh found Coeur d'Alene. They were not for sale at all. Okay, it took us a year to get the majority ownership of that company, and it's really funny because they were worried about culture. Who was gonna come in there and buy it, because they have been there a long time. And Josh being, of course, part of the University of Idaho helped, rather than we weren't just California people.
Right.
That's the thing.
And they loved what we have created down here, and so they wanted us to bring that.
And it is KW.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is Jeff Menendez in the office?
That does not sound familiar.
But again, there are other people who know that, so, good deal. Well, guys, like I said, I could keep you up for all day. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how busy you are. I just want to point out, what you just got was Keller Williams Mega Camp worthy content, right? That's what this is. This is what Gary Keller does at Mega Camp, at Family Reunion. He brings up teams like the Jelmberg team to share insight into their business and their business plan. So don't leave here today without having written something down. A couple bullet points I've got. Mission and culture. And that's where it begins. It begins with the people, right? And what is your greater purpose? It begins with a business plan. We're not shooting from the hip. We're business people. You're starting a small business, and that mindset begins when you begin, right? You don't wait to do it later. And if you're not reinvesting in your business, you're not in the business. And the last thing I'm going to say, and I got so many more notes, is I see a lot of identifying the next opportunity too. What's my next opportunity in this? Whether that's the magazine, which is sort of maybe was a surprise when it was a viable business opportunity, or ancillary businesses or whatever. You can take this as far as you want to. I'm going to go really fast through our Top Producer Awards, and I apologize. I want to recognize everything you've done, but we are over, and I also have some sponsors I want to give them their time too. Hey, I am excited about our top team volume this month. The Caring Realtor team, Suzanne Hove in first place with $4,530,000. Tanya Vanbrook with $1,713,000, and the Hungerford team with $1,095,000. Congratulations. Certificates, so we will get you a certificate. I don't know what that, anyway. Wait, I do, they're buried in my stuff, look at that. So Suzanne, why don't you come on up, let's get a photo real quick. I know, yeah, Sam's good, she just shows up. Who's gonna be snapping my pictures today? Everyone wanna snap? Caitlin, you gonna get that for me? All right.
Sorry, you
Cool.
got it.
Suzanne, when did you come to Harris at Riverside?
3 months.
About 3 months ago. And if you don't know Suzanne's history, she's one of the top agents in the Riverside area.
Thank you.
And so we're excited to see you on top.
Thank
So
you.
she's and the team is growing. You may have noticed Caitlin joined the team. I think we've got 2 guests with us today.
Yes.
Yep, there we go. So cool. Top team listings, we have Tanya Bamberg with 4 units, and the Caring Realtor team one more time with 3 units. So you can do another one if you want to. There we go. So congratulations, Suzanne. And this is going to be a recurring theme. We have top team closings. Again, the Caring Realtor team with 6 units. So congratulations to Suzanne. And that's all the certificates I have, which is odd. So that is very odd. I will get these out. So top individual volume. We have Kelly Heinley with $3,925,000. Kelly had a killer month last month. Kevin Allen with $2,063,000. And Leanne Sargent quietly just putting deals on the board every time I turn around at $2,045,000. Congratulations. I said to Leanne, you've been killing it. And she's like, oh no, I haven't. And then every time I turn around, she has no listing. She goes, oh yeah, I just got another one. I was like, just stop. Okay, but Leanne, we've loved seeing your success this year. Top individual listings, Kevin Allen, 2 units, and Carla Valdez with 2 units. Welcome to the board, guys. See them here. And then we've got top individual closings, Kevin Allen, 3, Kelly Heinley, that $4 million was 3 units, and Jules Farmer with 2 units. So congratulations. Which brings us to our top 10, the Caring Realtor team, Suzanne Hove, Kelly Heinley, Kevin Allen and the Restory team, Leanne Sargent, Jules Farmer, Tanya Bambrook, Carla Valdez, Maria Magana, love seeing Maria back on the top 10 board, the Hungerford team, and Gloria Sanchez. So congratulations to all of our. I didn't have any of the individuals, it's probably because none of them seem to be here, except Leanne.
Yeah, I have it right
Okay,
here.
we got Leanne, so good, because,
Yes.
you know, there you go. Leanne, a quiet killer in the back of the room. Good deal. Well, hey, today's sponsors is Steve Shakarian and Kevin Sprague from Churchill Mortgage. And this is kind of a different vendor story. I've mentioned my nephew's listing in Meadowview in Temecula. And I had a wonderful young couple come in, and they were eager to make an offer on it, and we're trying to structure something for them. But through them, I met Steve, which is weird because our kids are actually friends. I didn't know that. In fact, I was confused as to which kid it was, but give me a break, I got a lot of kids. And Steve was telling me a little bit about their offerings, about some of the things that they're doing for agents to make their offers more competitive. And I said, man, I want to have you come up, share a little bit about your program. So guys, the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit about Churchill Mortgage.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us. You said we have 25 minutes.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
Nobody's hungry, I'm sure.
Yeah. We know we're between you and lunch, so we'll be quick. Our friend bet us $100 that we wouldn't take a selfie So if we could just take a selfie real quick.
There you go, yeah.
If you guys like do something in the background, maybe cool.
$100.
All right.
Easiest $100 ever. Yeah, we'll share it with everybody.
Money in the bank. So I hope these few minutes, I mean, you guys are obviously well coached, and this has been super valuable for us just to sit in on, so thanks for having us. Hopefully the next couple minutes is valuable for you guys. But I'd just like to start by asking a question. On a scale of 1 to 5, think for yourself, how would you say how strong is your mental fortitude right now? Just like in the last month, on a scale from 1 to 5. Think about it, write it down. Give yourself a score, be honest, tell yourself the truth. There's a quote that I really like. It's when discomfort strikes that they realize a strong mind is the most powerful weapon of all. So, any volunteers? Did anyone have a 3? No 3s. Wow. Okay. Any 4s? Awesome. And then a lot of people think, even the best people have 5s, but sometimes we have bad days, right? We're up and down. There's a rule on our team. You can't be a 3, so you have to be either a 2 or 4. We have to prioritize winning in our minds first, so that we can be the best version of ourselves. And if you're not good for yourself, you can't serve anyone else well, like we've talked about today already. Unfortunately, nobody has a crystal ball right now, right? Like, we don't know if when the cycle's going to turn. Is it going to turn next month? Is it going to turn next year? There's a lot of experts who have said we think it's going to turn in X amount of time or whatever. But so we can't control that, right? There's lots of things in our lives that we can't control. 90% of the stuff that we worry about, we can't control in our lives, right? So let's focus on the things that we can control, which are, and this is a saying that our team uses a lot, it's called being an ace. And it's something that I coach my kids' baseball teams, and we do the ACE player of the game. So ACE stands for attitude, courage, and effort, right? You got to bring your best attitude, have a lot of courage, and bring effort into everything you do. So with that, we're going to talk, I guess, a little bit about ourselves. I have an accounting and finance degree from Azusa Pacific, so that's kind of my background. I have 4 young boys. Kevin also has a business degree and is just a machine in everything he does. So we're part of a team, and we love working together. So I'll pass it over to you to kind of talk about the media headlines, and then a little bit about why would you partner with us? What do we have to offer? And it's partner and the product. The combination of those two things is powerful. So.
Thanks, Steve. And yeah, we know everybody here probably has really good relationships with lending, so we're not trying to stand here and pitch our hey, send us all your clients. Here's why. But just a couple things that we do that we think is really important. This is from a monthly webinar that we do. We take education really seriously, so we have a standing monthly webinar that we invite all of our clients and partners to, really just on the state of the housing market. What's new? What programs are available? What are rates doing? What is the housing market doing? This is a slide we pulled off that we think is really interesting, because I'm sure you guys are fighting it too. It's a bad time to buy, right? It's a bad time to get into real estate. That's kind of all we're hearing from clients. And we show them this as part of our education. And these are actual media headlines from 2015 to 2021. 2015, we're in a bubble larger than 06. 2016, we're in a new housing bubble. Better to rent than buy. The housing market's about to shift in a bad way for buyers. So we show them this and say, hey, if you're just basing your opinion off media headlines, you're never going to buy. The media's job is to scare you. The media's job is to get clicks. So we really show this to say, hey, how much real estate do you wish you could have gone back and bought when the bubble was larger than 06, right? So we thought this was just kind of a fun slide to show, because this is kind of type ones, yeah.
Anything for raw land?
We have a construction loan for not purely for raw land, but to build on. So if that's something that's interesting for a client, we can definitely help with that.
Yeah, I mean, I had